each individual Buddha nature and another Buddha's nature is exactly the same. They have all the powers and they have all the abilities to be able to be helpful to you in many, many ways. So what happens is, even though all the Buddha's abilities are exactly the same, their manifestation is different. The reason their manifestation is different is because of their prayers before they became enlightened. So if they have a particular prayer they had before they became enlightened, that's one. Second is, certain Buddhas specifically emanated for a specific function to help you overcome something. Example, Heruka and Vajrayogini specifically emanated to help us overcome desire. Desire that creates all types of problems and anger and all types of disappointments and all types of projections. So Vajrayogini and Heruka definitely had the power to help us overcome anger and attachments and greed and miserliness, but primarily the function is desire. All right? Yamataka's specific emanation is for anger. If we do Yamataka sadhana correctly, and we do it systematically, and we do it well, if we really do it well, we will see our anger transform and change to great patience. So what happens is, Yamataka's specific function is to control one's anger. Vajrayogini and Heruka's specific function is to control one's heavy desire, sensual desire specifically. So therefore, they are equal in power, they are equal in ability, they are equal in blessing, but because their manifestation is different, then they show different aspects. So the color of their bodies, the number of their hands, the stance, the implements, whatever they're wearing, their expressions, they also, how many faces, specifically is designed to affect us emotionally and psychologically in order to transform that certain type of emotion that is afflicting us. In this case, desire or anger. Now that we have come across the Dharma, and the Dharma is very rare, and the Dharma is very precious. Now that we've come across the Dharma, and time is short, we want to have a very strong life. We want to have a very healthy life. And we want to have a life that is very firm and stable. Because if we were to lose our life now, it would be a waste. Some people are forever depressed. Some people are forever unhappy. Some people are always forever unsettled, and their mind is always not at peace. And the reason for that is very simple. When they have tremendous self-cherishing, when they have tremendous selfish mind, then the result of that will always be depression, loathing, unsettling, and a lot of disharmony in their mind. And that comes directly from what? Selfish mind. If you look at people who think about others more, they're much more happier. Example, I've read some interviews with doctors. And the doctors who know nothing about Buddhism, don't practice Buddhism, has nothing to do with Buddhism, has said themselves, patients who are more concerned about others have a higher recovery rate. Patients who have something to do to help others are happier and more cheerful. Whereas patients who always think about themselves, or they're concerned about themselves, or they think about their problems, they're always concerned about their problems, their recovery rate is slower, and also their mood is down. So even without knowing Buddhism, that's a fact. So similarly, if we're very, very selfish type of people, we will always, and I'm not talking about karma, definitely there's karma, but if we're very selfish people, definitely we'll always be very depressed and unhappy. Why? When we're selfish, we always think what we didn't get. We always think what we should deserve. We always think what we didn't have. We always think people didn't give us respect. They didn't give us face. They didn't give us attention. They didn't give us power. They didn't give us what we wanted. And then when we think about it a lot, we become very angry. We become very depressed. We become very sad. Whereas people who are not looking for something like that, they're usually quite happy. Why? Because their purpose is to help others. They're too busy to be depressed. They're too busy to be unhappy. They're too busy because they're thinking about others. So what's very important here is others versus oneself. Others versus oneself. So what I want this pilgrimage to be about is looking inside and checking ourselves out and seeing what we have done with our lives and what we have focused on. And how do we feel about our lives at this point? Do we feel fulfilled? Do we feel we have done something good? Do we feel that we've been useful? Or have we spent our lives for ourselves? Now, when I say that we've spent our lives for ourselves, I don't mean this in an offensive way. That's what we've been taught. To take care of ourselves, to make money for ourselves, to entertain ourselves, to drink and to be merry and to just use our lives that way to enjoy ourselves. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that once you've heard the Dharma, once you understand the Dharma, your mentality should be different. So my point is I want this pilgrimage to be a collection of merits to reflect on what we've done with our lives. I don't want to simply go on pilgrimage, offer candles, pray, and then we go back to our respective countries. What I want us to think, what have we done with our lives? What have we done? Don't say, well, I've earned money, I've got a job, I've got a car, I've got a family. That's not such a big deal. Everybody can do that. So you think, am I very happy these days? Am I very moody? Do I become very unhappy? Do I become depressed? Do I think about others? Think about yourself and reflect upon yourself. We have 5 days, some of us 6 days, to really take it easy and go on a spiritual vacation. What is a spiritual vacation? Not to recharge, but to discharge. Discharge what? Our selfish thinking. I would like to take you guys to very holy places, but you have to understand these places have been where people have visited for hundreds and hundreds of years and done prayers. Okay? So these places that we're going to is specifically to collect merit, to remove our obstacles, so that when we go back to our respective countries, we can engage in our Dharma practice. Going on pilgrimage is not Dharma practice. Going on pilgrimage is collection of merit for Dharma practice. Okay? It's the famous white, yellow, and it's a green tarja, so it's red. Very famous. We're offering incense also to the local deities, and we offer incense. Incense is a cause for us to be able to hold our vows, hold our promises, hold our samaya, and hold our commitments very strong. And why is it important to hold our commitments very strong? Because it is the way to break our habituation. When we have a lot of habituation, we create a lot of negative karma. When we know intellectually what to do, we still don't do. Even we've been told so many times how to transform, we don't transform. Even though we meditated and we read how to transform, we don't transform. And when we don't transform, we create trouble for others, we create trouble for ourselves, and we create a lot of negative karma. And we slow ours and other people's Dharma practice down. So breaking habituations is a very hard thing for most of us to do because it's many lifetimes. So the way to break habituation is to take vows. If we take the vows not to break them and to hold the vows very strongly. If we hold the vows very strongly, at first it's difficult, in the end it becomes easier. So offering incense to the goddess Tara or to all the Buddhas is very important for holding our vows. On top of that, please think, may my mother and father have long life. My mother and father who have passed away take excellent rebirth. And all of us have excellent health, wisdom, and great understanding of the Dharma. Great Mother Tara, who is in the form of the white main principle form here of long life, by the power of Trijang Rinpoche's words, by the power of Trijang Rinpoche's words, by the power of Trijang Rinpoche's words, may our wishes come true. Please think like that.